Hello and welcome to today's episode of Stand Up. It is August 17th, 2026, and I've got your headlines and a clip show for you. No guest in today's episode, but I will be talking to one, maybe two people going live later this afternoon, so stay tuned for that here on this channel. Stand Up with Pete. I know Nancy Mace has a channel now too, so we've got to catch up to her. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching. If you're listening on the podcast, happy to have you. Hope you had a great weekend. I sure did. I was with my friend Glenn Kirshner and all the Justice Warriors down in Washington, D.C. We had an amazing time, and I'll look forward to telling you more about that. But right now, I've got your headlines, and they are, well, a doozy because, you know, it is Monday. First and foremost, the big story overnight, I guess, was that yesterday, Sunday, at some point, Napoleon Bonespur himself said that he had ordered the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, to significantly reduce military exercises near North Korea because he's mad that the South Koreans did not support the war in Iran. That's right. He said the country has been unthreatening and respectful during his presidency, thanks to his very good relationship with their communist dictator, Kim Jong-un. The president shared the news in his Sunday post yesterday, like I said, on Truth Social. He said conducting scheduled joint military exercises with South Korea would be, quote, totally inappropriate and hostile towards North Korea. But since it was too late to scrap them all together, he told Pete Hegseth to, quote, substantially reduce them. He also bashed South Korea for telling him no thanks, as he put it, when the president asked for help with the Iran war. So there you go. That's a huge story. A lot of people reacting to it, as you can imagine, but I think that might be the biggest one from the weekend. Unless you want to say that this was Ukraine launches 600 drones toward Moscow in a major barrage, according to the mayor of Moscow. That's right. Air defense is down 201 drones over the Moscow region, but they're targeting these logistic hubs and warehouses belonging to the equivalent of Amazon in Russia called Wildberries, their largest retail giant, and this continuous campaign of long-range drone strikes that facilities that are functioning, they're saying, as dual-use military logistics centers supporting the war effort. And there's a huge fire at one of the main Wildberry locations in Moscow. So lots to watch over there, of course. That's a big story. Also, yesterday, Todd Blanche made some news on, I think it was Meet the Press, when he declined to commit that the White House and the Department of Justice should be acting independently. He declined to commit to always acting independently to the White House. And this is obviously a major concern for anybody who worries that the Justice Department might be carrying out the president, no matter any president's, agenda. And so it's terrible. And you should, I'll try to get the clip for you here on the clip show. But his former personal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, is now his attorney general, confirmed by the U.S. Senate. So disgraceful. And now he's saying, I'm not going to be independent of the White House. So a lot of people are talking about that. Another big story over the weekend, families of the USS Lincoln, a aircraft carrier, of course, that 5,000 sailors are on, are pissed. They're condemning Bragger Vance's comments on the ship's record deployment. Defense officials did not authorize NPR who told NPR the USS George Washington apparently is en route to relieve the USS Lincoln. It's been at sea for nearly 9 months. Of course, Blob the Builder was asked about this by reporters, and they asked him if he'd been at sea too long, and he said, no, not long enough, not nearly long enough. Well, his comments really pissed off the families, obviously amid food shortages, plumbing problems, declining mental health. There's reports of fights and suicides, and it's just horrible. So that continues to be a story because he does not care about the troops at all, but you already knew that, I'm sure. How about this? The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, who's also a criminal, is due to meet another criminal. It's Jared Kushner, the prince, the president's son-in-law. So he met with Hamas yesterday leaders, and now he's meeting with Israeli leadership. So I'm sure everything is going to work out just fine. How about this? A federal judge says Idaho cannot prosecute doctors who perform abortions to protect a pregnant person's health or prevent self-harm. The U.S. District Judge made the ruling Thursday, said that Idaho's, quote, Defense of Life Act and Fetal Heartbeat Act, which together create a near total ban on abortion, well, they violate the due process and equal protection clauses of the 14th Amendment, according to this U.S. District Judge. And physicians who violate the laws can lose their license and face up to 5 years of prison time. Both laws include narrow exceptions, including abortions done to prevent the death of a pregnant woman, or in some cases, rape or incest, where the pregnant woman has filed a police report. But the case isn't about bodily autonomy or reproductive choice, said the judge in an 81-page decision, but rather the, quote, limit of state's power to make a woman suffer for the sake of an unborn child. The state cannot pick and choose which life-threatening conditions justify abortion, the judge wrote. A pregnant woman's health is not a state resource to be allocated at the legislator's whim. Woo! I like that judge and that ruling. Ooh, how about this? Lake Powell, the nation's second largest reservoir, has now hit a record low. Lake Powell and Lake Mead supply water for a vast swath of the Southwest. And I mentioned this last week, less than 2 weeks after Lake Mead, the largest reservoir by capacity in the United States, hit a record low. Now Lake Powell, the country's second largest reservoir, has suffered the same fate. So that's bad. Tens of thousands are without power. More than 100 homes damaged in Hawaii as a result of tropical storm Alala, I think is what they're calling this. And what else do I have for you? The governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, made some news when he, a presidential hopeful, well, he's hoping at least, came out on a Sunday show and said that he backs abolishing the Electoral College. I think that was on CBS's Face the Nation. And Congresswoman Nancy Mace is going through it. She got 9 tattoos, and then she shared a picture of them in a bikini and created a YouTube channel that she has a lot of subscribers on. So let's go subscribe to this channel. And sad news, tragic news, actress Hayden Panettiere, who I'm not familiar with, I've heard the name, has died at like 37 years old. She suffered from depression and alcoholism, and her parents put out a notice that she has passed away. So that's pretty sad news here at the end of today's news segment. And but I don't want to end on sad news. Most of the news here is sad because it's exceptions to the rule. Those are the rules. That's why it's news, right? News in your life. And if not, go watch season 4 of Reacher. I don't know. It always puts me in a good mood to watch that guy kick ass. And the NFL season, preseason is over, and week 1 is over, and there's lots of other sports and great things to distract yourselves with. But I hope that you're doing okay out there, and I appreciate you doing the news with me. All right, let's move on to today's clip show. All right, welcome to today's clip show. It is Monday, I think, August 17, 2026. Here are the clips that I've gathered for you that you sent to me that are the most viral and impactful, not these kind of ridiculous, unnecessary clips. I don't have a lot of commentary in and around them. I just want to share them with you, although I'm sure I'll say something about somebody, right? Let's start with this asshole, Todd Blanche. How about that? He's the Attorney General of the United States of America, and he does not want to uphold the precedent and tradition, an important one, that there's a separation between the Department of Justice and the White House, that the president can't just tell the top cop who to go arrest because, you know, that would be bad. That would be really a bad thing, right?
President Trump should have a, quote, voice. It depends.
Would you take his opinions into consideration when he says, I think this case should be revived? Will you take that into consideration?
So hold on. Will I take the president of the United States' view on something into consideration? Yes, of course. And I hope every attorney general in history would not answer that question differently. Just let's play that out. The president of the United States, the elected president of the United States, says something to me, and I'm supposed to say to you, I would say, nope. I mean, that's not the way it works. So if he has a view on that, he talks about it on social media. He talks about it when he speaks to the American people. That's certainly something that I listen to.
If the president says something and I say nope, what if the president tells you to go arrest one of his political adversaries? Nope. Or wait, he already has done that. It's just ridiculous. It's getting, I think, the attention that it deserves, because that is the question that needs to be asked to any attorney general in any country or their equivalent, any state. And so real bad. Yeah, not good. at all, obviously. But we will move on. How about this? I'll make you feel a little better with our boy, Senator Jon Ossoff.
And there's something uniquely despicable about lying a nation into war. Treating citizens as fools and those who serve as pawns. Aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, they've now been at sea for 240 plus days without a port call. It's a Navy record. And still they serve with excellence. And still they serve with excellence. God bless the sailors, Marines, aviators, and all aboard the United States ship Abraham Lincoln. See, they don't expect luxury. They'll endure hardship. But they deserve competent leaders who send them into combat only when necessary and with decisive clarity of purpose, not fools who lie about the purpose and progress of war. And while the sailors on the Lincoln fight his war, while he fruitlessly drains our munitions and oil reserves, the president sleeps through his meetings. He golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that he went for it with that he was referring to Natalie Harp, who is, as they refer to her, the human printer. She prints out all the great things to make him feel good, but also leaves him notes around the White House that, according to Maggie Haberman's reporting, the Secret Service took note of and thought, we don't love this. We don't love what's happening here. Not exactly sure the specifics of that, but wow, Jon Ossoff went for it. Mentioned Natalie. Is he having an affair with her? Or is, as Tim Miller said, he potentially impotent and he just loves the praise? By the way, what is he wearing on his ass? He's got some kind of look like a walker in his pants. Has he got a walker inside of his pants? All right. Senator Jon Ossoff was last. Now let's go to Pete Buttigieg, who also had something to say about the service members on the USS Lincoln. Obviously, Democrats and any good Americans are outraged by it, but making hay of it as well. Here is Pete Buttigieg on MS Now over the weekend with Jacob Soboroff. Soboroff? Is he sober or is he off?
No. Not nearly long enough.
He said not nearly long enough, Mr. Secretary.
He needs to show some respect to the troops that he is sending into harm's way, and he has done the opposite. The way he is talking about and, more importantly, treating military members and military families is completely unacceptable. You know, when you sign up to serve, and I know what that's like, you do so knowing that the top of your chain of command, the Secretary of Defense, the President, maybe from this party or that party over the course of your military career, it's not supposed to matter because it's not about politics for you. But the way that it's happening right now is that they have sought to politicize the military. They have undermined the military in so many ways while claiming to do the opposite. Just yesterday in the airport, I had two different active duty troops come up to me talking about some of the pressure they feel that they're under and the distractions they're experiencing because of what's happening at the top of their chain of command, which just should not be their problem. And then to think of the actual conditions that these deployed sailors are going through. When you were in charge, when you were the commander in chief, the absolute least you could do is show some moral support for what they're going through. Even if this White House and this Pentagon are failing to shorten the historic record-breaking length of deployments, even if they are failing to improve the conditions on the ships, which, by the way, is unacceptable. But even if that's the case, the very least that they can and should do is show some regard for the sacrifice that those service members are making and demonstrate that they understand what they are being asked to do.
Very clearly spoken by a veteran himself. As always, Pete Buttigieg on MS Now. All right, let's check in with my friend Michael Mann, one of the most respected climate scientists and experts in the country. I'm glad that he was on TV over the weekend. He talked with CNN. Here's a little of that.
I mean, the picture I've just painted, not just in Europe, I know we're seeing also really dire scenes in the United States, but here on this side, we have extreme heat, drought, wildfires, devastating floods across the Northern Hemisphere. And it does feel very apocalyptic. When you listen to what we've just laid down and what we are seeing, what do you take away and how does it compare?
Yeah, well, thanks. It's good to be with you. Although the topic that we're discussing here obviously is not a happy topic, right? Because we are seeing the consequence of our continued warming of the planet for the burning of fossil fuels, increasing the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's warming up the planet. It's also changing wind patterns and ocean currents and shifting rainfall and drought patterns. And so you have this climate change factor. Think of that as a rising tide. And on top of that, you've got a wave. El Nino is a wave. And what happens is when the crest of that wave combines with the rising tide of the warming of the planet, you see new levels of warmth. You see new levels of impact on wind patterns, on storms, on extreme weather events. And so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the combination of the warming of the planet from fossil fuel burning. Now we've got a big El Nino on top of it. And there's some question about whether El Ninos might be getting larger because of human-caused climate change. But leaving that aside, the combination of those two things is now creating unprecedented weather.
In case you were wondering, I haven't talked about that at all here on the show, and I should get Michael or others to specifically discuss it. There's a lot to learn, a lot to know, a lot to be obviously concerned about, but also do our very best to adapt to. What are you going to give up? All right. Let's go to, what about solutions? How about electric vehicles? Well, here's a guy who explains what it would be like if you right now introduced a combustion engine to an EV world. We'd think you were insane. I love this.
Imagine this in reverse, right, where all cars are electric and we're all nipping around in little electric cars and recharging. And this rogue Volkswagen engineer comes up with, I've got a better idea, okay? It's massively complicated. You put a huge tank of an inflammable liquid in your car, right? And then it feeds into these cylinders where we engineer an explosion, a series of explosions. Now, unfortunately, it only produces torque in a limited range of the revolutionary cycles. So we'll need a thing called a gearbox, which we'll need oil for. And then we'll need an air filter, and then we'll need a water filter, and then we'll need all this stuff. And it's going to be vastly more complicated. So you go, does it perform better than an electric car? No, not really. No, okay. Is it quieter? No. Quite the opposite. It's fucking noisy as hell. Right? Is it cleaner? No. It's farting stuff out of the back. Right. Okay. So, right. Okay. So, okay. Is it simpler to make? No. There are 250 moving parts in the drivetrain. I know the electric cars only have 7, but this needs 250. Right. Okay. So, what's the upside? Well, you can refill it really quickly. Can you refill it at home? No, obviously you can't refill it at home, right? You're not going to have a fucking petrol tank in your garage. Are you fucking insane? You're not going to be able to refill this thing at home, right? No. You'll have to go to a special place, which, by the way, won't just be a little thing on the side of the road with a rapid charger. It'll be a massive thing selling Ginsters and Marks and Spencer. Basically, that guy's career's over, right? Okay. You go, okay, so the 0.05% of the population who routinely drive 350 miles a day and have such enormous bladders that they never need to stop, they're going to benefit slightly from this insanely complicated engine, but the rest of us are going to have a horrible time. No, I don't really see this is going to fly.
Oh, I just love that. I think I'm going to adapt it and do my own version because it's such an important point and argument and obviously really makes you think. All right, here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on the program on ABC. ABC this week, she was asked, of course, about Democratic Socialists, which she has identified as in the past. And here she is. I guess this is called moderating. I don't know. I don't care. I think that we all understand where her heart lies if you listen to her for just a little while, certainly where her mind is and where her morals are.
Still a member of Democratic Socialists of America?
Of the New York City chapter.
The New York City chapter, not the national?
No.
And what's the difference?
So every DSA chapter is formed locally.
Yeah.
And so the New York City DSA chapter, those are folks that you know. It's kind of like your local union chapter.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, cause I know there was that strange moment in 2024 when the national chapter took away your endorsement.
Yes.
But I was looking through the DSA program, and this is the national program. I'm sure you've seen the document. It was adopted just a few months ago. But some of the positions here: defund the Department of Defense, close overseas military bases, abolish the police and prison system, grant amnesty to all immigrants in the U.S., replace the Supreme Court and executive judiciary with a chosen by lower to Congress, abolish the Senate, public ownership of corporations and essential industries. I mean, those are some positions that you're going to be hearing a lot about this fall from Republicans.
And I think we're also going to be hearing a lot about Donald Trump's commitment to getting us into a reckless war in Iran, his collaboration with big companies to make sure that everything from groceries to rent stay sky high. And I think that people are less interested in these academic debates, and they're more interested in how we're going to bring their bills down and make sure that they can afford to see a doctor.
But do you see, are those positions you support?
No, but I think that this is a free country. Everyone can have all sorts of beliefs and they can organize around them, and you're free to do what you like and, have conversations with your neighbors. But my job as an elected official is to guarantee healthcare in America. And that's what I'm focused on. And that's what I seek to do.
And what do you say to the moderate Democrats who say, first of all, that they are capitalists and that those positions are going to doom the Democratic Party because, again, they're not positions that are supported.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're free to have their economic identity as they like. And, in terms of dooming the party, the idea that there's a diversity of thought in America among everyday voting people is a fundamental fact of our country. I don't think that we should be worried about what somebody somewhere believes. I think we should be focused on what our plan to improve people's lives are.
All right. Well, there you go. I think she's going to have to get better at that answer. I'm not sure that was as convincing as it needs to be by AOC, who is always great, and that was too. But even better, I think she's going to have to come up with, and that's going to keep going. They're going to keep showing those screens where they have a list of all the different ideas that some DSA members and chapters have supported, and you're going to have to answer for all of them in detail. Meanwhile, these guys are burning down your house. All right. Finally, on today's clip show, I want to bring you some comedy. I do like to do that. I like to end with some comedy, sometimes start and end with the comedy. The late night hosts who I often go to easily and find good stuff have been off for the whole summer. Does anyone have an easier job than Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon and the former Stephen Colbert Show and all those guys that get basically the whole summer off, it would seem? But you can always count on my friend comedian Jason Solomon with his Another Weird Week recaps.
Another weird week. Hors d'oeuvre Force One edition. We found out the president saw danger and pulled a reverse Harrison Ford by kicking himself off his own plane. While the press were used as decoys, old cowardly lion went full George Costanza fire drill and skedaddled into a food container. Meanwhile, the commander-in-chief mobile misused munitions, misunderstood the enemy, misinformed the public, and mistreated our troops. Our unlimited weapons are getting used up. Our defeated enemy now has the upper hand. We're firing our most decorated leaders, and our brave sailors are being treated like prisoners. Lack of food, sanitation, and rest has made this the worst deployment of their lives. Or as the president calls it, total and complete victory. Here at home, there's more measles, more diarrhea, listeria in the meat, and Louisiana now has flesh-eating bacteria. We had the hottest July ever because climate change doesn't exist. They're recruiting gamers because they lost too many air traffic controllers, and the Powerball showed us just how much taxes billionaires should be paying. The president signed an order because he thinks vaccines are like sodas and then took a nap while RFK lied about autism. ICE keep pointing guns at people because they don't understand how cars work, and they're now coordinating with the TSA to kidnap people at airports. They continue to detain U.S. citizens, kids, and veterans. They keep forgetting to wear their body cams but are excited about their new electric shock gloves. What could possibly go wrong? The Danube dried up enough to reveal a wasteland of Nazi vessels, which is also how I describe what happened to the GOP. Speaking of, when Stephen Miller hired a shady company to make immigrant children disappear, and the GOP confirmed an attorney general while he fought in court to keep predators' names redacted. Caroline Leavitt's stepping down. She'll still be lying. It just might not be as obvious. They tried to secretly mine in Greenland and secretly kill fishermen in the Galapagos. The president transferred hundreds of millions from the Parks Department to build things so people might remember him. But old Steve Jobs loss ain't making the history he wants. His economy is losing jobs like it made out with its boss at a Coldplay concert, and folks no longer believe the smart businessmen are the ones who go bankrupt. He's still trying to pass legislation to make it harder to vote, and got rid of legislation that makes it harder for criminals and foreign governments to launder money in the U.S. He's still trying to put his name on the Kennedy Center, still going after that Olympic canoeist, and he's making Lisa Cook into the Rosa Parks of the Fed because he won't stop trying to make her give up her seat. Look, the president's bananas, specifically the way his hands brood. But he's losing battles everywhere. Congress passed a Russia sanctions bill, and judges stopped construction on the Jeffrey G. Epstein Memorial Ballroom. And like they say, when the going gets tough, president's hiding in the snack truck. Have a good weekend. Stay ornery.
Yeah, see my boy Jason Solomon live, by the way. All right, well, that is what I've got for you here on the Clip Show and the show. That's today's show. Wrapping it up. Patreon.com/Pete Dominic, or get a paid subscription on Substack. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube or wherever you are watching it. Tell your friends, share it with them, and join our community on Discord and every Thursday night where I host a hangout. Look forward to meeting you there. That's it. That's all. Jon Carroll writes the music for the show. So if you're listening on the podcast, you're hearing it. And soon we will be copyright free here on YouTube and sharing it every day as well. JonCarroll.org. Be the change you want to see in the world. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
When the tyrants taunt you and the sirens teach, you better stand up. Stand up. Let the brave meet the challenge. Let the weak flee. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. When you're tired of begging, saying pretty please, that's the time you gotta finally get up off of your knees. When you can't see the forest for the burning trees, you got to stand up. Hey, you've been sitting so long, you got the creaky knees, you got to stand up. Stand up. I think you're driving wheels with leaking grease. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. Well, there's a whole lot more of us who know what's right. They'll keep right on ignoring us if we keep sitting tight. You got to open up the window to let in some light. You got to stand up. That's right. We got to rise up. You got to stand up. You got to stare the devil straight in the eye. We got to let him know it's his turn to go. See it clear when all you hear is a lie. Don't get up off of your butt, down off of your fence. Even if it ain't a very friendly audience, well, they'll begin to listen when you start making sense. And you stand up. Stand up. No need to point your rifle to defend your town. Just stand up. Stand up. You know they can't deny you what you're laying down. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. Show your face of every color, yellow, black, red, and brown. See the place where every lost child will finally be found. There's only one thing to do before we stand our ground, and that's stand up. Stand up. Well, the founding fathers saw a land for all. They had to stand up. They had to stand up. They had a keen imagination for a crystal ball, drawing all the plans of stand up. But all they had to go on was the time they were in, with other causes for laws, and since they weren't even sin, they knew that change was gonna come before the change could begin. They had to stand up. All right, they had to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to look the devil square in the eye. experiment if you stand up. All right, we got to speak up, we got to reach up and raise your voice in every way you know how. Don't be toes up, you got to show up. Ain't no better time to do it but now. No need to pledge allegiance to no wanton tribe. Rise up, show obedience to the voice inside, and listen well and it'll tell you not to run and hide. It says stand up,